Hi guys, it's Jane Mann, and today I thought I would do a tutorial on the ANMA and also give you a little bit more history about it. I was thinking it is literally almost our 7-year anniversary. I created the ANMA in 2015, and it was to complement a class I teach to other skincare professionals internationally and all over the world, fascial release, and it's called the fascial contour massage. And the fascial contour massage came up because being an advocate of microcurrent for so long, I noticed that even the best microcurrent machines, the best microcurrent treatments, you could not substantiate a lift if there was fascial resistance, because fascia covers the entire body. Think of it as a giant fishnet hose covering from your top of your scalp all the way down to the bottoms of your feet. And so what this means is if you sprained your ankle as a child, later you might have pain in your hip. Or if you were playing and you fell on your head, you might have pain in your neck, a compression that affects your shoulders, but all of that ultimately can affect your face. And the first thing that I would notice, it was, I think it was maybe in 2008 to somewhere in that area. I was working on a client and she had really heavy jowls. And I just couldn't figure out why I was not able to get rid of this heavy lymphatic jowl. And I started to line up all of my before and afters on clients that had the same condition. And I went to find some common denominator in them. And one thing I noticed is they all had tight traps, and they had tight traps and almost really harsh or strong sternocleidomastoids. So that's where I felt like, okay, if I work on this area, would that make a change in the lymph? Because every one of my clients that had this strong kind of lymphatic jawline had shared the same tight traps and tight neck. So I needed something. I was trying to massage these people out. And I really needed something that would help do that. And so we started to create something like little fingers that I could start to relax the jaw. So that's one reason when I start out working on the ANMA on myself, I always start with the neck. And I love to go in the back of the cervical vertebrae along the traps. Now, this is so much different than a professional fascial release. And this is never meant to replace professional fascial release or professionals that do things such as rolfing or targeted fascial release. But it is something that we can take and start to move that tissue. So when you see me moving up and down, I'm moving the tissue. I'm not moving the muscle so much, because this isn't a muscle issue. This is the tissue on top of the muscle that goes from the very top layer all the way through. In fact, fascia kind of interweaves even through the muscle. So there are times that you can work deep muscle, but for the most part, the ANMA is geared for the tissue right above that muscle. So as I start to work the neck, I really kind of play around with relaxing other components. So right, I'm in the occipital, I start to relax, try to relax the frontalis, because the frontalis connects back towards this occipital. So even though I'm back here working, I'm still affecting up here. And that's the beauty of fascia. So I love to start back in here, going down to the trapezius, and then even more up to the occipital. And the occipital, when I talk about that, is this little place behind the neck. And I always say it's right where we bend into the shampoo bowl. So I love to start kind of right in this area. And you can see this is the attachment of the trapezius, and this comes down. Then we've got the start of the sternocleidomastoid going in there. And we even have scalenes that come back. And all of these muscles are entwined in our neck, and we use them every day. But what we don't understand is every time we lift something, we're contracting this muscle. And mothers in their 30s, I can remember when my children were younger, holding two on one hip. So, and carrying groceries in at the same time, because God forbid I do more than one trip, but that's another story. Anyway, I'm holding the kids and I've got them on. And so now we're just contracting this muscle, and it's no wonder we start to build a fascial memory, because the body wants to conserve energy. So the muscles tighten and the fascia shortens. And before you know it, we're walking around with our shoulders up. And now we have cell phones, so we're protruding forward, and we get into this habitual movement of coming forward. And that's where we start to see the play on the face. So when we start to use the ANMA, I always tell clients, just start with the neck. And as you're starting with the neck, really kind of try to lengthen your neck up, tucking those shoulder blades back, kind of squeezing those shoulder blades together, tucking them back, opening up the pectoral region and working that neck area. And you can really start to loosen up some of the lymph in that area. I love to do the ANMA first before microcurrent, because not only am I releasing maybe some fascia, enabling the muscle to resume its natural position, I'm also creating circulation. And circulation and blood flow create hydration in the skin. And the more hydrated the skin, the more your microcurrent works, because microcurrent is an electrical frequency that's dependent upon water to really saturate the tissue at hand. So I hope that this explains a little bit more about the beauty of this simple tool. If you want any more type of questions, post them in the comments below, because I love to talk about it. I love to hear what you want to hear me talk about. And I like to hear that you're actually watching these videos. So like and subscribe if you haven't already. That's kind of a good deal, I guess, for people on YouTube. And until I post my next video, happy lifting.